Good morning, lunatics. Welcome to Morning Java. Morning Java brought to you, as always, Taylor, by our good friends at the Get Go Cafe and Market, where you still can't find anything that they offer in Long Island, but our friends back home are enjoying the big fish sandwich. It's always milkshakes with it.
Okay, first of all, they have a milkshake called the Java milkshake.
They do that.
I mean,
you should probably have one of those.
You probably have to go try it.
We saw a pretty good hockey game, a really good hockey game in arguably the best hockey atmosphere I've ever witnessed as a live human being there.
Yeah, I mean, what a way to start this series. I mean, tight game, back and forth, overtime, so many almost goals from Tom Kuhnhackl.
Two of them from Tom Kuhnhackl.
How long did he single-handedly delay this game? But yeah, no, the atmosphere here, it's great. I mean, it's such a small building, and it's just so, I mean, you're not quite on top of each other, but everyone is kind of packed in here, and it does get really loud.
You got a little heat earlier before the game, didn't you? Just for saying it's an AHL building, but you didn't mean that like a...
I know. The building, you look around, there's one concourse, 2 levels. I mean, it's kind of older. There's not a whole lot out there on the concourse. It's built like every other AHL arena I've been in.
This crowd, though, was just... It was insane. The way that View from Ice Level started was actually when we were in Columbus or one of those cities with just a great atmosphere, and Dayon looks at me and he's like, dude, you got to start saying stuff about the atmosphere and the crowd. So I started doing that, and that's how View from Ice Level was born. Man, this was the best atmosphere I've ever been around. I loved Nashville, but I wish I had earplugs. This place was just decibels upon decibels the entire game.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been to as many road cities as you have. I've been to a few, but I mean, this had to have been the best by far. Yeah, miles above the Penguins arena, for sure.
Good work, Long Island.
So, Jack Johnson, you know, I would say that he was a really big part of the conversation for this game, except he's been a really big part of the conversation since he signed the contract. You wrote a piece that half of our readers loved, if you'll recall, and then the other half thought, well, at the time Jack wasn't playing real well. I wrote a piece that half of our readers loved or hated, the same thing, pretty much taking the opposite view.
Very controversial player.
Oh, very controversial player. But never more than on this day, because he gets a healthy scratch after 82 games. And what are your thoughts on that?
Well, in my live cues the other day, someone asked me who I'd sit when Dumo came back, and I said Jack Johnson, so not to pat myself on the back, but I mean, it is still kind of surprising. We kind of maybe got a clue from the practices, just that he was paired with Letang for one of the practices, making him the easy guy to come out when Dumo comes back.
Yeah, but Ole was in that mix too, right?
So, I mean, it was either going to be one of those two guys, probably. I think we probably see Jack Johnson next game after some of the the defense here.
You
the greatest.
Would imagine.
Yeah, I think we see Mata maybe come out next game, put Johnson in, but yeah, still surprising.
Okay, but you know, I get into the column into what I think about Jack Johnson being scratched, and it isn't particularly kind to the head coach. But I'll ask you this, and it's the same question we've been asking now for weeks: who comes out when Jack's in? Because I saw Eric Goodbranson down there in the locker room, and he wasn't exactly bandaged or wrapped up. He doesn't look like he's going to be missing time. I mean, I'm not playing doctor here or whatever. We're just going, what's known right now. So who comes out, and does Jack have to go to the right side?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it is an easy answer for the rest of the series. Like, might just take game by game. Jack he really shouldn't be on the right side. That's
right.
When I wrote that thing.
He was there.
Ripping him. It was kind of when he hit his
right.
lowest point on the right side, and then they moved him to the left, and he has gotten better. So it's hard. It's not an easy decision.
Let's say Goodbranson can't play for whatever reason. Okay, meaning I'm sorry, not for whatever reason, because of the injury that occurred down there. If Jack is in, then he is on the right side. Yeah. That's the thing, because you're not moving anybody else from that group over there.
Yeah, so he might not necessarily be the weakest defenseman, but just the way, the guys, what the hands they have, you might have to keep him out. I don't know.
Anyway, welcome all you newcomers to the Jack Johnson Appreciation Club. I know who you are, and you know who you are. I'm the first person Sunday, whenever anybody points to the defense men, plural _, the actual position,
I heard your question to coach.
You heard the question to
I
coach?
heard your question to coach.
Well, I actually phrased it like that. It says the defense men, because he always answers in the form of team defense, and we're a 5-man unit. But when you aren't, and when it is your defense men who are messing up, which is what happened out here, where else do you put the blame?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was a really iffy situation. You're talking about Justin Schultz just gets them back into this game in this big emotional moment.
Yep.
And you're like, okay, I can forgive all of the lapses defensively up to that point. And then they don't win the game. And then Ole Mata
they don't win the game because of really ill-advised double pinch by their top pairing.
There were just so many mistakes. One of the goals comes after Ole Mata ices the puck,
right,
following another icing and then an extended zone time for the Islanders, and he ices the puck. Penguins can't change. They get a goal. Thought maybe you take the time out there. Ole Mata gets undressed by Tom Kuhnhackl in the most embarrassing of ways in overtime. I mean, his legs, if you guys could see my legs right now, I can't stretch them far enough to show you how wide Ole Mata was.
Yeah, it was a tunnel.
And then Chris Letang, I know he's getting roasted in the comments on the live file. Chris Letang allows so much time for just one of the most patient players on the ice all night, and Barzal he buys time, he gives them a chance, and then Bailey comes to finish.
I mean, Letang's going to get it. Believe it or not, I mean, I think Brian Dumoulin's going to take a fair amount of heat because look, when you come back for game one, there's no adjustment period, and we talked about this with these guys. We talked about it with Zach Aston-Reese, who looked slow and sluggish, and that's why one of many reasons why you don't do this for game one. And I would say, I swear to you, the very same thing if the Penguins had skated off winners here. It was a mistake.
No, I 100% agree. Even before Brian Dumoulin's injury in this game, he never looked like he was in it. He looked even worse after that injury. Of course, he missed some time in the game, but man, just none of it was there. I thought Zach Aston-Reese he was a non-thing in this game. And you know what? I still point to the defense men.